Greetings, my name is Bill Wheeler. I am running as your District 1 representative here in Everett, Washington. Welcome back to Take Back Your Town, where we will call out failures holding back our communities and ways to get our leaders who will fight to get it right for the city to get back on track. Today I'm zeroing in on my hometown, Everett, Washington, and Mayor Cassie Franklin's disgraceful response to the Black Lives Matter movement that took heed in 2020 when BLM protesters, including one right here in Everett, Washington, left a trail of property damage that Franklin completely ignored. That's just one reason she's unfit to lead and why we need another leader to step in and take her place. One such leader, the only candidate that I see that could possibly come close to fixing what has been broken, would be Scott Murphy. So let's go back to June 2020. The nation's burning literally after George Floyd's death, with Black Lives Matter fueling protests that turned into riots in cities like Minneapolis, Seattle, and Portland. We're talking billions of dollars in property damage nationwide, businesses looted, buildings torched, communities gutted, and Everett was not immune. On June 6, BLM marched, brought in 800 to 1,000 people to our streets. Official reports called it peaceful, but it was anything but peaceful. And the protests often leave chaos in their wake: vandalism, broken windows, graffiti. Even if Everett's damage wasn't on the scale of Seattle, it was not peaceful. Local businesses and property owners were left picking up pieces, and the threat of escalation was very much real. Cassie Franklin, in all of this, was silent. No condemnation of BLM's destructive tactics, no public plan to protect our businesses or clean up the mess. Instead, she lets the march happen without a peep, as if ignoring the problem makes it go away. This was Everett's moment for the mayor to stand up, call out BLM as the terrorist organization that it is, and defend our city. Franklin failed us, and that's why we need new leadership. That is the only hope that our town has. And it gets worse. 3 months later, in September of 2020, Franklin has the nerve to issue a mayoral directive that called Building Unity, Addressing Racism, and Promoting Equity for All. This can be found on the City of Everett's website and is a true gut punch to every constituent in this city. Instead of denouncing BLM for property damage and division they brought, she rolls out 5 initiatives that sound like they were ripped from BLM's playbook: engaging in BIPOC communities, reviewing policies, diversifying hiring. This isn't leadership, it's groveling to a terrorist organization that left cities in ruins. BLM's not about justice, it's about power and destruction. Their protest cost up to $2 billion in property damage nationwide. Per insurance estimates, with the small businesses and communities like ours were hit the hardest. In Everett, Franklin didn't even acknowledge the vandalism or economic toll from the June march, let alone compensate affected property owners. Her directive: no funding, no real goals, just empty promises to appease activists. A few token BIPOC forums in 2020 and 2021 didn't fix broken windows or shatter livelihoods. And she never says Black Lives Matter, which might have been her only smart move, but she still bows to their ideology. And that is unforgivable. We need a mayor that will reject BLM's chaos and prioritize Everett's hard work residents. Murphy's promised lower taxes, real solutions for homelessness, and a city that doesn't cower to extremists. That's the leadership we're desperate for. And in your districts, that's the leadership you should be desperate for. Now, let's talk about the policing, because BLM's true goal was to vilify the cops and gut the law enforcement while cities paid the price in crime and destruction. In Everett, we saw Franklin's true colors during a 2020 scandal. A police sergeant, a union leader, was allegedly linked to a Twitter account slamming BLM protesters. This officer was speaking truth about a dangerous movement, but Franklin threw him under the bus. She and Police Chief Dan Templeman hid behind personal privacy, ran a secret investigation, and left the public in the dark. No support for an officer standing up to BLM's anti cop rhetoric, just cowardice. Did Franklin defend her police against BLM's lies? Absolutely not. In 2022, she mumbled about reviving policies, but there's no evidence. It meant nothing. No reforms, no community updates. Meanwhile, her 2025 State of the City address pushes new police programs, while ignoring the property damage and chaos BLM's anti police agenda fueled. She's all talk, no action, leaving Everett vulnerable to crime and unrest. And she never addressed the businesses hurt by protest damage, completely ignored as if they don't matter. Scott Murphy wants to back police 100%, reject BLM's terrorist tactics, and make sure property owners get the support they deserve. With Murphy, we'll get a mayor who fights for law and order, not one who lets our city pay the price for BLM's destruction. So here's the bottom line: Cassie Franklin's refusal to condemn Black Lives Matter and her failure to address the property damage their protests cause prove she's unfit to lead. BLM's reign of terror left businesses vandalized, communities divided, and Everett's leaders looking the other way. Franklin's pandering directed, her betrayal of our police, and her silence on the economic toll, on top of her disastrous record on skyrocketing taxes and runaway homeless crisis, show she's out of her depth. Everett cannot survive another term of this. That's why I'm urging you to vote for candidates such as Scott Murphy and myself that are running to restore order and pride to Everett, lower taxes, and address homelessness, and a zero tolerance stance on groups like BLM that threaten our city. People like us will protect our businesses, support our police, and make sure every resident's voice is heard, not just the radicals. The choice is clear. That's all I have for today. I'm Dr. Bill Wheeler. Thank you for listening. If you're done with Cassie Franklin's weak leadership, then please vote for people such as Scott Murphy and myself. Get to the polls this election. If you are in District 1 particularly, I am running as your candidate because real change takes courage, and in that moment you want your leader to have as many people to have on their back as possible when it comes to shaping policy for the better of this community, such as lowering crime, lowering taxes, and making Everett not just safe but affordable. I'm the only candidate in District 1 that will do that, and I say that with extreme confidence because it is based on truth.